That was the front pickup. This is both pickups. Just the back pickup. This Sadowsky preamp sounds fantastic. It's what they call their drop-in 4 control. So the controls are actually volume, blend, passive tone, and then stacked bass and treble. Right now the EQ controls are completely turned down, but let's start bringing them in and hear what it sounds like. So that's both pickups with the EQ completely off. Now I'm going to start bringing in the treble and the bass. Again with it completely off. And then just bringing them both in a little bit. A little more treble. Trouble. And let's do some more bass here. See how much bass we can get happening. I mean, there's mega amounts of bass. I can't really show you all of it. Not on this kind of recording. So for me, I kind of like it. A couple of my favorite settings with this preamp and these Bartolini pickups are slightly rolled to the front pickup, bass and treble slightly boosted, passive tone at about 80%. Or slightly rolled to the back pickup. And then of course that you know, both pickups on this instrument with both pickups you know, right in the center. It's pretty bitchin' slap tone. A little less treble. I don't like too much treble in my sound. Let's try going to rolling it to just to the back pickup a little bit. cutting the treble way back, boosting the bass a little bit, and putting the passive tone on 10. So boosted bass and not much treble here. Yeah, this is a tone that I really like a lot. Yeah, I love that sound. That's a great one. So this instrument by Devon is fantastic. It's the model is the J24 24 fret 5-string jazz bass Classic 5, and yeah, I just adore this instrument. It has a quilted maple top over a swamp ash body. It's chambered, tort pickguard, maple fingerboard, maple neck. It's a laminated neck, 3 pieces. Hipshot ultralight lollipop tuners, Hipshot premium Hipshot bridge, string through the body. Basically, this instrument has everything. One of the main things that I really dig about this bass is the way that it hangs. You know, when I'm playing live, it just hangs right in the perfect place. And you know, the jazz bass style body is a body that's there's a lot of different versions of it out there. They're all kind of obviously derived from the Fender jazz bass, but there's something about this one, the way the neck is set in it and the way that it's shaped. It just hangs really nice, and the subtle differences, but when it comes to musical instruments, bass guitars, the subtle differences really can go a long way in terms of comfort. Another thing that Devon does is he tilts the headstock back, which is really great. It seems to help with the tension. You know what I mean? It keeps the tension nice and stiff, not overly stiff, but taut. And there's nothing. I don't like to set up my instruments with the strings really flappy and low and kind of laying on the fingerboard. I don't like any fret buzz in my sound at all. That's just me. I don't mind working a little harder to get a clear tone on every note without that kind of buzzy fret influence. There's nothing really wrong with that, I suppose. Some people like to do that, and it becomes a big part of their sound, or it enables you to play faster left-hand things and facilitate hammer-ons. You know, the interaction between both hands is a lot easier to facilitate with lower action and lighter strings. I just don't go there. I use a medium gauge string, 45 to 125, nickel round wound. I keep my action in the medium range, you know, medium to high. I guess some people would think it's a little bit high, but like I said, I don't mind doing a little extra work to get the kind of tone that I want and that I need. And I think that came about because when I was a little kid, the first instruments that I had high action on them. I didn't know that they were supposed to have low action, and you know, they're like Hondo and Fender copies and stuff like that I had. They just were beginner basses, and I didn't know anything about how high the strings were supposed to be. So I learned on basses. My you know, first couple of years of playing probably was on instruments with high action, you know, and I got strong hands that way, and I got used to hearing the bass guitar that way, and I guess that stuck with me because that's the way that I've always set up my basses. You know, even my most high-end instruments like this one, you know, this is a $3,500 instrument or whatever it is, and you know, I set it up, you know, kind of like the ones that I had when I was a kid. And that really came in handy for me in the recording world, because when I started recording, it was about 1987 when I did my first sort of professional recording session. And I went in, and at the time I had a Squier P bass that I had put EMG pickups in, and you know, I had my usual higher action, and immediately the engineer and the artist that I was working with really complimented me on the tone I was getting, and they're like, "That sounds great, it's no fret buzz." And that's another one of those things that just stuck with me. I liked the way that it sounded when I recorded it. It just went to tape really, really nice. And back then, everybody was still using tape. And some of those first recordings that I did ended up being albums. And I still listen to them to this day occasionally. And I'm like, wow, yeah, that P bass sounded killer with the EMG pickups. And the at the time I was using bass boomers, GHS bass boomers in the red package. Nowadays, and for many, many years, I've used black diamond strings with the nickel round wounds I was telling you about. So that's kind of a little bit tell you about this bass. And the preamp, the Sadowsky preamp, has really worked out perfectly with this instrument. It's a great complement to the Bartolini pickups. And everything about this instrument, that you know, the way that Devon, the details and the kind of just super high quality attention to detail everywhere across the whole instrument, spectacular. I use this instrument on a lot of gigs these days. I take it on a lot of gigs. This one in the orange sparkly Nordstrand, and my Dingwall, and the USA MTD Kingston. I mean the USA MTD Saratoga. Those are probably my 4 most used 5-string basses on the bandstand. Another cool thing. Real easy access all the way up to the 24th fret, which is very cool. It's the only time you'll ever see me tapping. I don't do that, but this bass is really easy to do that on. So should I ever get a wild hair, I just want to mention real quick before I go, the Sadowsky drop-in preamp is fantastic. I have 2 of them. I have this is the 4 control, and then I have the 3 control that's in my G&L, my sparkly red G&L JB, and I couldn't be more stoked about these Sadowsky drop-in preamps. It literally takes about 7 minutes to install, all completely contained. Just pop the wires in, put it in, and off you go. And it really took this instrument to a cool place. You know, the combination of Bartolini pickups and the Sadowsky preamp, and then all of these woods, the you know, swamp ash with the maple top and the maple neck is bright, and then the chambered it makes it a little bit lighter weight, which is nice. One thing I will say is that it's not overly chambered, meaning it doesn't feel or sound hollow. That can be a problem for me with bass guitars, because I'm so used to solid bodies. I think that with the solid body, everything is there, all the frequencies are there, and with the chambered bass, sometimes they get harsh in the upper mids and in the high end. They get kind of a natural wood distortion going on that drives me completely bonkers, to be honest. But this one doesn't do it, and especially since I put this Sadowsky preamp in, it totally came to life, and it's totally happening for me. Alright friends, I'm going to wish you a great rest of your weekend, and thanks for watching this video. Thanks for watching all the videos. And man, I don't know if you've been following, I hope you have, but you know, I've been announcing everything regarding the spring 2018 mega giveaway. I'm doing 3 huge grand prize giveaways, and basically like every day I'm announcing a different prize that's being added to these bundles. April 25th, May 25th, and June 25th, I'm going to announce a winner. You have to go to the Facebook prize group and join that. That's the primary thing. And then just share and be involved in the community, and just stay tuned, because I'll keep adding more and more prizes to these 3 different bundles. And once you see how much stuff I've been able to accumulate with all the work that I've been doing here these last couple of years with the Daily Fun Club and all these brands that I work with, I've gotten to the point where now they have earned I've earned their trust, and we as a community have created a value, and now they're starting to give me stuff that I can give to you guys. So it's a real happy time. It's a real kind of a proud time for me, because I put in a lot of work, and now I'm able to give more and more back. And you know, you know, that's always been my goal from day one. When I first started doing bass clinics 11 years ago, one of the primary things that I wanted to do was to be able to give away basses and strings and swag and gear and amps and cabs and everything like that. And I've always done that throughout the last 10 years. And now, since when I started the Daily Fun Club, that was one of my primary things, was that I wanted to do lots of giveaways. And I thought about it, and I figured I knew a way to make it happen, and that would be to get together a lot of brands and do a really good job, you know, supporting them, and then in return they would hopefully support me, so that I could give back to my community, you guys, and it's working like a charm. So, man, I'm so excited. So, yeah, this is going to be a great spring. A lot of fantastic prizes, and man, there's going to be some happy bass players. All right, friends, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon. Peace.